What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here. Delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. And I got a special book today, Charlie's London. This was a weird one. Like, this is something that you wouldn't think you'd back because it's just kind of odd concept. It is a Charlie Chaplin biographic comic. And I don't really buy biographical comics all the way, but that is it. I've noticed one thing, like English comics, I've got a bunch of them actually do their titles this way, kind of backwards, versus like American comics. They do them this way. You see how they're like different directions. This isn't like this one printing wrong. Like I literally see that from English comics quite a bit. Like I've got a Valerian book that's printed in England. It does this exact same thing. I don't know why that is. So something about the cultures, I guess. Maybe it's the driving on the left-hand side of the road versus right-hand side of the road thing, right? So this is a cool book, and I got this on Indiegogo, and very interested in checking this out because it's very different than everything else out there. All right. I am a comic creator myself. I have wonderful books. I've got a link in the description below to all that. Lots of different links. So if you like my stuff, like the channel, definitely check that out and do support cool indie comics. Let's get into this. It's like an 80-ish page book, and it's I wasn't sure really like what to do about it. Here's a nice detail about this. Obviously, this person is really into Charlie Chaplin. Starts out with an older Charlie Chaplin, and it's kind of set within this. He's actually returning to London or whatnot after like there's this whole like Red Scare incident, and he is having to deal with this and deal with the House Un-American Activities Commission. And I don't know a ton about this. I mean, I knew this was taking place in the early 50s just like that. And I knew that Charlie Chaplin was around back then. I don't know anything about his history with that. But it's framed with that as he's looking back on his life. And it eventually tells his childhood story here, right here. You can see the art's really nice. So I don't know who's story and editing by Ice. How do you pronounce that? Fennelly? Ice? Is that the right way to say that? I don't know. Art by Mickey in Folio Design, so whoever that is. So there that is. Ink Spots and Billy Basco. There we are, do the colors. So I am familiar with Billy Basco. But very beautiful looking art. So it's an interesting, compelling story about his life. And so you do get a really nice back and forth as he grows up. You learn about how he kind of got into acting. You learn about his first love. You learn about his parents and how he got just kind of transported off into school for acting and all that. So it's more than I ever wanted to know about Charlie Chaplin, but it is kind of cool. So you don't really hear about stuff like this very often, and it makes me want to watch some Charlie Chaplin films for sure. It's very sympathetically portrayed towards the character on this. He got into a situation where he actually got married in here, and like it was kind of like a mistake sort of scenario. And he took a lot of criticism for not really pushing towards World War I and going into the fight himself. Whoever drew this like draws really nice, realistic women, like and characters in general. So beautiful stuff. Art's just really fantastic. It is a lot of talking. As you can see, there's a lot of talking heads going kind of back and forth on some of this stuff. But it's a biography. So like, what are you going to expect? It definitely feels like a biography. And then it kind of just gets to a point where, you know, it talks about his career a little bit, like at the beginning, and then kind of glosses over some stuff at the end. I don't know if they mean to do a couple volumes of this or what, but that is the book. The one thing I noticed is the other thing is like it didn't really go over the results of the House Un-American Activity Committee and didn't really go into that in depth too much. He was about to go to that, and then it kind of skipped over it. So I was really interested in that, and that was a big hook for me, and I wish it would have explored that a little bit more. So we get some Charlie Chaplin style comic tales back here, and this art is by, this is really cute. Who did this? Statistical Zero, I guess. I don't know who that is, but obviously an anonymous name. Very cute little deal with an animal here, and it just feels like one of those silent movies. Very cartoony sort of thing. It fits very well thematically with Charlie Chaplin, and I really enjoyed that as a backup, as a cool backup. All right. I don't read a ton of biography comics, so I don't really have a ton to compare this to, but you know what? The scripting was very good. I didn't see any, bad blunders in terms of grammar or overuse of words or anything like that. It did flow pretty well, so the pacing was pretty good. It felt like a very fast-paced book. The art was fantastic. I really loved the backup story, so this was a fun comic. I don't know that I would have read if I didn't just randomly check this out on Indiegogo. So I'm glad that I did. Good stuff. I'll call this an 8 out of 10. Solid work, and for indie projects, that's always a good thing. All right, hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know what you think about my review, and we will be back soon.